Okay, so chapter 3, we're breaking up into two parts because it's a long chapter. This is the longer of the two videos. The other one would be fairly short. So, excuse me. As it says here, when you're planning and drafting an essay, writing is an actual flexible process. So what we mean by that is that people go about writing an essay in different ways. So I myself, I have to have the thesis figured first, and then I can write. I know other people who have to write the entire essay, read it, and then decide what the thesis is. So you have to determine what your own process is. But even though it's flexible, you still got to have certain stages completed, such as understanding the assignment, which you'll be giving detailed assignment sheets for this class. You have to zero in on a topic. We'll talk about that. You have to gather information even when you're not doing research. This is important, organizing the information. Develop yourself a strong thesis statement, and then complete a first draft, revise it, and complete a final draft. We'll go over each of these further in this lecture and throughout the course. All right, so understanding the assignment, you got to make sure you understand all the instructions, including what you're supposed to be writing about, how long it is, and what type of format it has to be. For in this class, we just asked you to do a standard MLA format. Audience if required. I kind of would prefer you to have an audience so you know who you're writing for. It's not just for me, but we'll talk about that later as well. And then the purpose, why are you writing it? And the purpose isn't, well, I'm trying to get an A in this class. No, you have to think about your essay as being something you want published and you want a wide readership. So what are you trying to accomplish with the essay with that readership? All right, zeroing in on a topic. So here you go. Don't stand too close to the plate. So what that means is your topic may be about like the genocide in Darfur, which is an example I use, but you have to have something more specific, like maybe the role or the negative role that the military played in the genocide. What specifically about your subject are you going to write about? Right, so the subject's just a major area of discussion. The topic's what specifically you're going to discuss. So here's my example. The genocide in Darfur is the subject, which is, an entire book could be written on that. Your topic is the role Darfur's government has played in the genocide, or even maybe the role that a specific part of the government in order to narrow it down. Always choose a topic if you're allowed to that plays to your strengths. All right, strategies. I just put him in there because he's so cute. Draw on your personal experiences. That's always good. Use your reading writing journal. That's a reason for having one. Keep a personal journal. What used to be called a diary, though. Now they call it a personal journal of just keeping track of what's happened to you day to day. Or you can pick a subject from reading and just brainstorm, which means just throw out ideas about that reading. Or free writing on a subject found in a reading. If you were in an on-ground class, we would do some of this free writing. But that's just sitting down, setting a timer, and writing everything that comes in your head, no matter what, for as long as the timer's going, right? And you don't stop writing. That's a good way to generate ideas. And there's questions on page 35. All right, so free writing, brainstorming. You can also what's called sorting a general subject into categories, and then from those categories, see what topics might come from those. But mostly what we want you to do is write about what you're interested in. Why? And this is why most of the time in my classes, I allow open-ended assignment topics. Now, your audience and purpose. Your audience always will influence your purpose, and this is why you have to consider your audience. I would not write for most people the way I was going to write it for this guy, especially if it's about the Vikings, right? And you need to be aware of that. It's kind of like, if you get caught, being in a party and being drunk, you would tell your friends a certain way about how that happened. You would tell your parents a different way. And if you had to go to court, you would tell the judge a much different way, right? Each one is a different audience. You have to think of it that way, all right? And you have to identify your audience.